Okay, I'm sorry about that. I think my computer died. I have no idea what part we're on now. You can see there 5 or 6. I know it's the final part. I think my computer just cut off because it died. So I just plugged it in. So it just abruptly cut off. So sorry about that interruption. Um, so we were on criminal law, and I was talking about mens rea and actus reus. I hope that I'm going to rewatch the video. I hope it got that part in. But if not, um, just to briefly recap again over what I said. Mens rea, I believe, has to do with like the mental state of the criminal when they committed their crime, and actus reus, I believe, it's like the act of the crime, like itself, like the actual act of the crime. Um, and I believe like the difference between them is the intent, if I remember from my lessons correctly. Uh, so obviously, like for example, um, if a person suffers from schizophrenia and they're hearing voices telling them to kill somebody for whatever reason, they can plead insanity if the court finds them to like be insane, um, and therefore they're not they won't be held accountable for their crimes because they weren't in the right state of mind, and so therefore they weren't intentionally trying to like kill this person. They just their judgment was clouded because of their mental illness. uh, Whereas I think with actus reus the intent is more clear, like um, and is more purposeful. I think there was mens rea, actus reus. I can't remember if there's a. Oh, here they are. They're all right here. I think they are. So actus reus. Let me bring the book over here. This is all under elements of murder. I'm on chapter 9. It's crimes against persons. I'm actually going to earmark this page. Okay, so elements of murder. First, we have actus reus, which is a voluntary act of killing another person. So I think I got that right. Mens rea is general intent, purposely or knowingly or extremely recklessly. Okay, I thought that had something to do with the mental state, mens rea, the mental state of the criminal. Yeah, it is. Um, Murder mens rea uh, can include every state of mind included in the concept of malice aforethought. Uh, can include purposeful, knowing, or reckless as the mental element in killing. So yeah, I was right. This includes the mental state of the criminal. Okay, I thought there was a third one. Maybe it wasn't. But I was right about the intent. That's the difference between being found guilty or not guilty. Did you intentionally kill this person? Did you intentionally or not intentionally cause them harm? That will be the difference between you being um, uh, I cannot think today. Between you being sentenced with a crime or not. I don't think sentence was the right word I was looking for. This is driving me crazy. If anybody cares to comment if I'm missing something, or I'll just look it up because like I'm having this like bugging feeling that I'm missing something. I have actus reus, I have mens rea. I thought there was another one. Okay, anyways, um this whole series has been over an hour. So I'll save that for another day or another video, or I'll just leave it and look it up some other time. Um, maybe there wasn't. Maybe it was just those two, actus reus and mens rea. I thought there was a third one. Maybe there's not. But yeah, that was what this book was centered on. All the case studies. Oh, I have one more. I'm sorry. All the case studies that I read were centered around like those two um, terms. And this is a book, but you know with some of these books is really annoying. They give it to you unbinded. I think like because maybe you want to put it into your own binder. It's like this. I don't know why I don't have the cover of this. That is weird. Maybe it didn't come with a cover. No, it definitely came with a cover. Anyways, I don't know where the cover is. And see, look, it's not binded. So if I wanted to take some pieces out, and it kind of came in handy when I wanted to do that. See, you can just put it. I hated this too, but they didn't come in any other like form. Luckily, most of my books didn't do this. But yeah, like if I didn't want to take the whole textbook, that was like the only good thing. If I didn't want to, because my textbooks are just like so heavy, carrying around on my back all day. So if I just wanted to take like the chapter that we were going over in class, or yeah, the chapter, then I would just like take that chapter out, put it in my notebook, and bring it with me to class. And I open my notebook, take that chapter out, and just like go through it as I'm taking notes, whatever. And yeah, so it was convenient in that way. But I prefer my books to be binded for obvious reasons because it can just like you can lose pages, it can just become torn more easily. It's just like it. I have to find a binder for this. I don't know why I haven't yet. It just hasn't been a priority for me because I keep everything like safe and locked up in my storage bins, my little storage bins. So yeah, but it's a pretty thick book. It's it's like what, almost 600 pages? Yeah, almost 600 pages. I'm sorry, this is my math textbook. This is like one of my math textbooks. This is like the only math textbook that I have. Of course, I took other math classes, but yeah, for some reason, this is the only math textbook I have. And again, like I've gotten like in the past, I could see myself throwing this away because I for the longest time I just didn't understand math. It's actually pretty sad, and I don't like it admitting this or talking about this, but I just like a lot of people I struggled in math, but I struggled like really bad when I first went to college. I had to take a lot of remedial math classes, and like I said, I couldn't even do fractions, and I was in college. And then yeah, one semester I just took this really great math professor, and uh, luckily he actually cared about the students like understanding and passing the class. Well, I want to say he cared like he wanted everybody to pass. Like For me, um, I got an A in all his classes, and I just felt like I should have not failed, but I didn't think like I deserved an A because all the tests, a lot of tests I was getting back, they were like kind of bad. And I was making a significant effort. I went to tutoring almost every day. I would spend hours in tutoring. I spent so long in tutoring, like everybody pretty much knew who I was. I saw the same people every day, like, and I would spend so long in there, like they would actually have to come to me and tell me, "Hey, your session's up. Somebody else needs to somebody else needs to be tutored." That would happen pretty often. And it wasn't just because I had to go. I actually started I actually started enjoying going. And like some of my educational journey was like is pretty emotional, especially like the progress I made in math because just like for the longest time I just didn't know this stuff, and like it's so amazing over a few semesters like a lot of things just clicked, and I just didn't understand why they didn't click a long time ago. I felt like some of my professors didn't care if their students passed or failed, and and tutoring. I felt like tutoring. That's why I never went to tutoring before I took this professor because I just thought like it wasn't going to help, and I was just feeling like kind of hopeless with math, and I'll never forget that professor. I'll always be grateful to him. I just thought he was like a great person, just like a great professor. And it was so weird because he was like nobody will probably believe me when I say this, but in like most of my classes, in most of our like classes that we had, when he was teaching and if he was asking a question, he would literally like look directly at me. Like you said, do you understand? He would like look at me. He wouldn't look at anybody else. Like sometimes he would look, at the class. But most of the time if he was teaching something or asking a question, it just felt like most of the time he was teaching directly at me. And I was like focused intently on what he was saying because I just he just had that energy and like where he was like teaching to you, wasn't teaching at you, if that makes sense. He was like he wanted you to understand this. Like he's almost not forcing it, but you can see the passion he had about math, and he he wanted people to understand, so. But it did feel like most of the time he was like teaching directly at me, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not like hallucinating this. Like he would literally look at me like for most of the time when he was talking. Um and the um in these remedial math classes, there were a lot of students who just didn't care and weren't paying attention and just didn't take it seriously, and it showed. And there were a lot of students in that class. They would come late, um, and it was like I don't know. It was weird too. Like when they would come in late, they would, instead of just like going around, they would walk directly in front of the professor, and like they were just it was disruptive, and a lot of people would come late to those classes too. But as far as it was quiet. It was a quiet class. There wasn't like any disruption. Um, people I'm assuming they did their work, but I did my work. I went to tutoring every day. I genuinely tried to understand what I was being taught and what I was learning. I genuinely tried to understand math. I tried to understand the equations, all of this stuff, and yeah, it paid off. I don't Like I said, to this day, I don't think I deserved an A. I still got an A. I think that A was because my professor saw that I was really trying, and I appreciate that because I kept like being held back so many times because of those math classes. It wasn't because of anything else, and it just seemed like it took me forever just to get my associate's degree because those math classes kept. Well, they weren't holding me back, but my inability to understand was just holding me back. No matter how much I was trying, and because he passed me, I was able to graduate. It took a lot of tries, but I was finally able to get onto college math, college algebra. After that, I was able to graduate, and I haven't taken a math class since then. Because even though I've become more interested in the subject and I've been wanting to like take higher level math classes, it's just very intimidating for me, and I just don't want to like risking messing up my GPA by doing poorly in any math class. So it's kind of like it's intimidating me for like some years, and I've stayed away from taking any kind of math class, which is kind of sad because I shouldn't limit myself like that. Um, Hopefully one day I'll be able to like find the strength and the courage to take another math class. If I did take one, I was thinking about taking statistics because I heard that that was useful in political science. Um, and yeah, and go on from there. I do like algebra. I found that algebra for some reason just really clicked with me. Like I really understood it better than like trigonometry or like I won't say calculus. I took calculus in high school like once, but I understood algebra better than like a lot of other mathematical concepts. Um, Especially with the letters, or not the letters, the variables, and doing the equations with the variables. I know there's a name for it, I just forgot. But yeah, I remember when I took the CLEP test too, and I went to tutoring for that. I bought the book. I took out the book from the library so I can prepare for that test. And I took it seriously. I studied hard for it. I thought I was ready for it. I went and paid for the test, and I took it. I think it was 50 questions. I think I was off by 1 or 2 points. I almost passed it. And the CLEP test, for those who don't know, in college, when you take this test, like in my situation, I didn't want to keep taking math, remedial math. If I passed the CLEP test, that means I would have passed like uh, college math. That means like I didn't need to like for this specific area, it was college algebra, and if I took the test, I didn't need to take the class. I didn't need to take the college algebra class. If I failed the test, I would need to take college algebra. So I took the CLEP test for college algebra. I was off by a few points. Um, I brought it up with them. I said, it's just a few points. Like, can I still? And I knew they were going to say no. They said, unfortunately, you'll have to retake the test. Uh, and yeah, I was so sad. I was so frustrated. I'm like, oh god, if I took this test, I would have been closer to graduating. I wouldn't have to take college algebra. But I don't know. Maybe like looking back on it now, I think that happened for a reason. If I just, I mean, that's like a short test compared to like I still wouldn't have known college algebra if I didn't take the class. Like that's not showing that I know the subject. Like, because I mean, you know what I mean. Like, I think that happened for a reason because now I know it's just like a journey for me. Like, now I keep learning more about math and, um, yeah, I mean, I'm glad I took that class now because it's just adding more to my knowledge about math, if that makes sense. Um, so yeah, ever since then, um, I went from like being indifferent and to not liking math, like a lot of people, to liking the subject and to becoming more interested in it. And now when I see math, I don't like, say, oh no, not math. Now I'm like, oh, cool. Oh, I know how to do that equation. Oh, I want to learn more about what that means, what how to solve this equation. Sometimes I might look up like math videos on YouTube, like what Khan Academy, just like on my free time, and um, look at these like hard equations. I remember in my remedial math tutoring sessions, when my tutor, this was one of my favorite tutors too. When he got done tutoring me, I would just ask him like, "Could you teach me something about calculus? Like, could you do a calculus equation real quick?" And he would do it. He would like just put a random calculus equation. He would teach me how to do it. And this is yeah, this in my whole education career so far, I would say this journey that I've had with math has been like the most stressful, difficult, but also the most rewarding. And it's a journey that I'm gonna continue. Like I said, hopefully I can find the courage and strength to um, like take up math again in the future. Um, yeah, but for now, I'll stick with watching videos. So yeah, this is my math textbook, the only math textbook I have in this collection. I I'm not for sure, but I think this is college algebra. I'm gonna see because like I said, I don't have the cover, and I'm not sure why I don't have the cover. Well, I'm like 90% sure this is, yeah, here it is, college algebra. There's the author. Maybe this is I think this is the cover. See, like I said, I get some of these pages mixed up because it's not binded. So I'm not going to go through too much because this is a pretty thick textbook. And of course, math, they say, is like a part of like our everyday lives. And there's like a lot of real world examples of math and like in all facets of our lives. I actually remember this one. I'm just gonna give one more story, then I'll get on to the actual book. But I remember this one example that my professor was like this one real world application. It has something to do with like how hot coffee gets or something. There was like some equation for like how hot coffee. I think it was that. Um yeah, there was like I don't know specifically, but it's just amazing like how there's an equation for even the smallest things that you don't think about. Okay. I feel like I could spend like a whole day on this book. Because, like I said, like I don't fear math anymore. Um, just feel like I can talk about it forever and just do problems forever. Okay, area, perimeter, geometry, area, LW, length times width. Okay, I know that. I wanted to get into those like equations I was talking about. Oh, the dividing polynomials. That was so hard. That was one thing I struggled with in college algebra was like the long division of no, well, not long division. Well, just like division of polynomials. That was just so hard. I'll show you what it looks like in a second. But yeah, I just couldn't figure that out. And I know how to do long division. I know how to do division, period, but I know how to do long division. But long division of polynomials, that's a completely different ball game. And yeah, I remember like in one class, I was asking questions and everything. I just couldn't understand it. So after class, my one of my classmates came to me. She's like, "Oh, do you want me to explain this?" I'm like, "Yes, please." And yeah, so she came up to the whiteboard and she started writing down a problem. And I was trying to. Everybody was leaving. It was the end of class. So I was trying to follow what she was doing. She kept looking at me. She's like, "Do you understand? Do you understand?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, kind of." It was, in my head I'm like, nah, I don't really understand what you're doing. uh yeah, I'm glad that she tried though. I appreciated her taking those few minutes out of her time to show me, but no, I really didn't understand. uh Maybe I'll understand one day. So yeah, I'm still learning. I definitely have a long way to go when it comes to math in general, but I think I have come a long way so far in understanding a lot of this stuff. But yeah, long division of polynomials. Oh, I said I would show you. That's one thing that I've always struggled with. So here it is. Wait. Yeah, here it is. Here's an example. You can see how complicated this is. But another thing, it really does take repetition. Practice makes perfect it really is applicable to math. Repetition is the key to understanding a lot of this. Um, so for me, that including going to tutoring every day or almost every day, uh, for hours a day, including like um, doing some independent studying, uh, homework, tests, all of that. It included all of that. But yeah, if you ever think like I would look at these equations and I'm like, that's really hard. And then after so much repetition, and then like I mean, eventually I got it because the main thing that helped me get it is once again like math builds off of itself. So if you get like a really hard equation, but you realize that inside that equation, it's using like concepts from like simpler math concepts, and you apply that to this like really hard equation. As long as you know how to do the basics, if you know how to multiply, add, subtract, divide, um, and like some of the other basics, then like you can get through these really hard equations eventually. but it really does take repetition above all else. And once I did all of that, I was able to solve these really hard equations, and it took a lot of time. It didn't happen overnight, of course, because this is math we're talking about, but eventually it happened. Now, since we're going into 30 minutes, I'm just going to find one problem that I think I can do, or that I know I can do, and then I'll leave it at that. I'll let that be the conclusion of my book series, if I can find that problem. Oh, quadratic equations, I remember that. That was also not a walk in the park for me. Okay, I'm trying to look for, I don't know, if I knew the name of it, it would make it easier. You know what? I can just do this in my head. I'm not going to do anything like real, like complicated. So let me just come up with an equation, an algebraic equation off the top of my head. I'm going to do, okay, just a simple one. Like, I'm not going to make it too complicated. Well, actually, okay, well, I'm going to do, wait. Okay, I'm going to do 6x plus 2x equals 2, for example. These types of equations, whatever they're called, they're like really, for some reason, they're really simple for me. I love these types of equations. They're just like so simple. I forgot what kind they're called, like, because it involves you solving on both sides of the equation. But 6x plus 2x equals 2. So what you have to do is, maybe I can write this down so like anybody who's following this visually can see it. Oh, wait. Okay. So here, just ignore this. So 6x plus 2x equals 2. So what you have to do first is, in math, you work from left to right. So you would solve what's on the left side of the equation first. I think sometimes you can work from right to left. Let me not confuse it even more. So you have like terms on the left side. You have like x. So you can automatically solve that. So you can just add. So 6x plus 2x is 8x. So that's simple. And then you do, I'm sorry. I think I went too fast. But you bring down the 2 from the right side. You're just like rewriting everything since you saw for the left side. So now you have 8x equals 2. And so now you just have to, you have to solve for this x. What you have to do is you need to get the x by, you need to get the variable by itself, because you're trying to solve for the variable. Once you solve for the variable, because the variable is an unknown number, so once you solve for the variable, then you'll have your answer to this equation. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to solve for x. So how you solve for x is that you're going to do the opposite of multiplication, because that's what this is. 8x is the same thing as saying 8 times x. So to get rid of the x, you're just going to do the opposite of multiplication. You're going to divide both sides by 8. to isolate the variable. And we're going to get a fraction. I was trying to get a whole number, but I just did this off the top of my head, came up with a random equation. So we're going to get x equals, oh, that's a bad 8. Sorry if that 8 looks bad, but we're going to get x equals 2/8. Can we reduce this? Yes, we can. Remember, I'm getting better at fractions now. So I'm going to do this just in my head. So x equals, so we're going to reduce it, and we're going to divide the numerator and denominator by 2. And I'll write this out too, just so I can like have the whole problem written out. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we got x equals 1/4. That is x. That is the answer to this equation. X equals 1/4. So that's the kind of equations that are just like, I love doing those equations. They're really simple, and they get more complex than that. Yeah, the other ones I like doing are the ones that involve the operations. Oh gosh. Okay, that's enough math for right now, because my brain is just like kind of tired. Order of operations. That was the name of it. Maybe I could do a whole video on doing equations. That would be fun. But for right now, I'm going to put all of these books back in their proper space. And I'm going to stop this video, shut this laptop off, and go relax for the rest of the evening. And I will see you in this next video, whichever video that will be.